For the scale in A flat major, the first thing I would recommend is to separately do the hands for the fingering that's traditional, which is in the right hand 4 flats. You have 2, 3, thumb, 2, 3, thumb, 2, 3, 4, important finger, E flat 4, thumb, 2, 3, thumb, 2, 3, 2, thumb, 3, 2, thumb, 4 on B flat, 3, 2, thumb, 3, 2, thumb, and this is 3, 2. So this is an adjustment at the bottom, because in the course of this scale, when you play A flat and B flat, you will not be playing 2, 3 except for the beginning. That adjustment allows you to begin smoothly. When you go into tempo, into speed, you want to have that easy access 2, 3, 1, 3, 2. Instead of this, it's kind of awkward. So this allows a nice, smooth and easy beginning to the scale. You can see, and that's why the adjustment is made at the bottom. The next thing I would advise, if you really want to get the anatomy of this scale and get very deeply involved in it, you can play little blocks like this. You can do A flat and B flat as a block, and then the next octave, the same notes, you know, notice it's 3, 4. And it continues 3, 4, and it continues 3, 4. So let's see if we do 4 octaves, where do we end up? It will be way up here. So we'll block it out again so that we know the boundaries. And at the very top, there'll just be one note. We won't have a B flat. We'll have the root up there. So basically have 4 groups of these blocks with the final note just being A flat with 3. And this is something you have to, get used to. This is a fingering pattern that you need to get used to. And the left hand, we're starting 3, 2, which is very nice because in the very beginning of the scale you have what's called mirror fingers. The brain likes these kind of reciprocals. It's very, very convenient, and it's easy to remember and to program into your mind or to imbue. But let's see what happens with all of the A flat, B flats. Actually, in this left hand, they'll all be 3, 2s. They're not going to change. And then that will be it, because remember, we're going to play up to. Okay, so there will be this one, this one, this one, and this one, and then back. So I would isolate those. Now what I would do next is I would take the very same notes that I blocked separately in each hand, but I put them together now. So the brain starts organizing what's going to happen when the hands come together. So in the beginning we have reciprocals here, 3, 2, 2, 3. But now, if we remember what we did before, in the right hand we went to 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. But the left hand's going to stay 3, 2. So we're actually going to start imprinting that like this. At the very top you have 3s on A flat, because the B flat's going to disappear. So you might as well play that one note up there. And then you're coming down with the exact fingers that will play out when you unravel this. It's on A flat after the first octave. 4 of them. And you can kind of do something like this. So you make it horizontal as opposed to vertical blocks. See? And then you should do it backwards too. I should have come down backwards, because backwards is as important as going forwards. See? And then, so when we did the initial exercise and we blocked, we had this, we had this, we have this, we have this, we have the single notes on top root, then we come back like this. You have to remember now we're symmetrical here with the altered right hand 2, 3. Okay, what's another place where there's a symmetry? These symmetries are very important between the hands. They would be C. Those are all the thumbs are meeting on C. So there are, I believe, 4 of them. Let me go backward. 4 up, 4 down. Okay, this is how I would do it. The next thing I would do is I'd block the first 2 notes and I'd add the thumb. I go to the next octave where I have the 3-4 again, 2, 3, and then I block it out and play single note thumbs. So this is already adding notes to my block procedure. And then this, and then finally this. Now coming back, you would go here, thumbs. I'm adding more components to this now. Next thing you can do is actually unravel that like this. 3 notes of the scale, and these would be the fingerings. You've already blocked them out. So that's going forward, and you might as well play the top A flat, because that's going to be the top note. Coming backwards, 3 blind mice, but notice the fingering. And at the bottom, the alteration, 3-2. Now what you could do next is, you can go up 4 notes. Now if you go up 4 notes, you've just gone up 3 notes, you might as well add the next 2, and let's see what happens. Now what happens here is very interesting, is a 4 comes over, and comes a 3 after. In the right hand you have a 2-3. So might as well start examining the double block neighborhood, which is going to have a 4-3 when you have a 2-3 in the other right hand. Left hand 4-3, right hand 2-3. It's very important to examine these neighborhoods and program them in. So 4-3, 2-3. Now horizontally. And backwards. Threes are on E flat, which is important to explore. Now add 4 notes together as if you're playing them out. And you could also do a little bit more blocking, something like this. Backwards. And here you have this. I think it's a little complicated, but you know, if you've been accumulating all of these zones, you should be able to block or play them horizontally. Now, going into horizontal motion, we can do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notes. And you might as well play this. And finally 3, 2, 2, 3. So there remain 3 notes. Let's see what happens when you play this out separately, the last 3 notes. F, G, A flat. You have 2, 1, 3. 2, 1, 3. 2, 1, 3. 2, 1, 3. So you have a thumb and a 2 passing over the thumb to 3. In the other hand, at that same juncture, which is the 6th note to the 7th to the 8th, you have 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to practice those out. Okay, let's play those little sections, spotting these places, neighborhoods. So we have 2, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3. And backwards, 3, 2, 1, 3, 1, 2. You've actually accounted for everything now. Now there's one place that is actually characteristic of many scales, and I'll show you where it is. It's going to come right here. When we play the B flat 4, we have 2 on the left, we have thumbs meeting, and now 4 of the right invites 4 of the left over. So I like to do that little neighborhood. That would be the second, third, and fourth note of the scale once you get out of the first octave. So you have 2, 1, 4, 4, 1, 2. That's mirror fingers. There'll be 3 instances of those. Backwards. Because at the bottom it's going to be different because you change this to 3, 2. Okay, so now I pretty much know the whole scale based on all these blocks. I also know the symmetries, and I know places where I have to be really cautious about, especially 6, 7, and 8 of the scale. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3. And you can isolate these little spots. You really know a scale if you could pick up the scale anywhere within the 7 notes, 7 different notes, or 8 notes if you want to call them doubled root, and start the scale anywhere. You should be able to start the scale right here and go right into it, to the very, top. Or start the scale, let's see, we could start the scale on 4, which would be B flat, which would be 2 here. So it would be, after the first octave, if we play 4 here, we know 2, 1, 4, 4, 1, 2. You should be able to do that anywhere in the scale, anywhere. G, you should know that G would be 2 in this hand, and it would be thumb in this hand. So you started right there. I'm only doing part of the scale. So you should be able to do the scale anywhere. That means you know the fingering. Any other places? Let's see. We could start, we know that in this hand we have 4, 3, but we have 2, 3, so you could start the scale here, right here. So at a certain point, you know all these neighborhoods, and you know your thumbs are meeting on C, and you know 4 tells 4 to come over your thumb, and these little neighborhoods, then you should just trickle right through it without thinking anymore. And again, you've got to know your neighborhoods right from the start. Where your symmetry is here, it is no longer in the next octaves. So these are things you have to know. Where you have 2, 3 here, you have 4, 3. These have to be identified. Thumbs. 3s are on E flat, which is important to explore. 2, 1, 4, 4, 1, 2. So there it is. That's basically the whole scale all organized. Then the organization, or mapped, is very important in learning a scale. And this is a bit of a tricky scale in that we had to change the first 2 notes to synchronize in with, the speed of getting speed. You can see you can do that much easier than this. It's awkward, but this is really what you want to do at the bottom. If I start on the 6th, 7th, and 8th degree, I know what this is going to be 1, 2, 3, and this is 2, 1, 3. Here I go.